Hello, everybody. Woo, thank you guys for joining me tonight. My name is Caron Bailey of Sweet's Signature Stamping Creations. And tonight I am here I'm going to share with you tonight to create some cards for a class that I'm teaching actually on Sunday. So let me make sure that I can get everything lined up. And there we go. All right, so let's get started. You guys, this has been, the more I try to get organized, I keep telling you guys this, the less organized that I appear to be. So I knew I was planning on going live tonight. I go live with you guys every Thursday night. Usually I go with a Case the Caddy, but I have some projects that I need to get ready for this weekend. And so I decided that I would just do a couple of some stamping on the fly to create those projects for my class. So I am teaching, I'm going to the Watermark, which is a home for senior citizens, and I'm gonna go with them and we're gonna create some cards. I think she said there was anywhere between 6 to 8 seniors that will be joining me on Sunday. And they're going to create some Easter cards for their friends and family. So of course I've got to get prepared, right? And so I don't have any of the normal things that I normally have, my normal admins. There's a lot of stuff we'll talk about, but I really have to get these projects done. So while I was at work today and on my break, I jotted down some sketches. And if anybody knows anything at all about me, I really don't create from sketches. I kind of just sit and do whatever it is I'm going to do. So my thought process was I knew I needed to make some 3 cards for them, 3 designs. And what I ended up doing was I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 copy paper, folded it in quarters because of course this is a card base size. So I already could see kind of sort of what I wanted everything to be. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to try to get through 2, maybe 3 of the cards tonight, and hopefully my designs come to fruition with what I kind of roughly drew out. So stick with me. I'm going to ask you from time to time to give me your opinion on something that I may or may not use. And also, I'm going to go back into the archives. There's a lot of Stampin' Up stamp sets that I bought that I've never used. And so I'm going to actually break that out. I'm not necessarily going to focus on a lot of the new products, but I am definitely going to be using some of the Stampin' Up retired products to create these cards. So with that said, let's give this a go. And I think I'm going to try to get through tonight. My goal is to do this one, and this one. But we'll see. Minimally, I think this one and this one are the ones we're going to try to get done tonight. Well, let's see how it goes, okay? So let's start here. Now, I didn't have a chance to, if you're on, please say hello and let me know where you're watching from. If you're a stamper, let me know how long you've been stamping. If you've been following the Stampin' Up world, let me know if you are a demonstrator about the color refresh or anything like that. So let me go grab some cardstock because I kind of knew where I wanted to be in some of the color ranges. So I'm going to go grab some cardstock and I'll be right back. So blue is my favorite color. So normally anytime I do most things, I tend to think blues first as my color palette. But I also like Orchid Oasis, so I may decide to go there as well. We'll see which colors work best for what I'm going for. So, and I think they both might work. So in this one, my thought process was we start with a piece of cardstock that's basic white. That's your card base. No, my card base is Starry Sky. That was my thought. And then I came in with a piece of basic white that's 4 by 5 1/4. Some two-tone Flora is my DSP, and then this is the measurements. I kind of just jotted them down. I wasn't sure. So let's just get to playing and see what we can come up with, okay? So I did know I wanted to play with the two-tone Flora designer paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this pack. And I think both colors will work beautifully with this one. So I think we'll just take this one out. And we might just very well make 2 cards today, y'all. We don't know. Okay. So with this two-tone Flora, let's cut our cardstock. I know my card bases, because I always do my card bases 8-2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm sorry, 8 1/2, 5 1/2. Scored at 4 1/4. So because I know that, I'm getting ready to just cut these at 5 1/2. And normally I cut for 2, but I'm going to need to layer some things. And so because of that, I am not going to do my normal scoring. So we're cutting at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to score each one individually at 4 1/4. Make sure I get my blade out of the way. So yesterday, Stampin' Up revealed the 2023 to 2025 in colors, and oh my gosh, the colors are amazing. If you are subscribed to my YouTube channel or my Facebook page, you will see that I have a teaser for you guys out there. I have posted what the colors are, what they look like, not what they are. And then hopefully I just have you guys give me your best guess as to what you think the color names are. So, all right, so based upon my design, let's see. I got my card base of Starry Sky that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And again, another tip for you guys is when you score, always score away from your score line. So this is where we scored. So we're gonna fold, excuse me, and burnish towards our mountain. Okay. As if you're watching me tonight, please take a moment to share this video with your friends and family, anyone you think that might appreciate some crafting, some cards. I am still trying to grow my my YouTube channel. So let's cut this to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to need a second piece of 4 by 5 1/4. So I should already just go ahead and trim that piece, because that's going to go on the inside. Okay. So that's 4 by 5 1/4. So one's going to go on the inside, one's going to go on the outside. Now, I didn't say this in my diagram, but I think this is just going to be a little stark for me, so I'm probably going to do a little embossing, but I'm going to wait for a little bit just to make sure that that's really where I want to go. So I said two-tone Flora, And in my instructions, I said I was going to use a piece of that was 2 by 5 1/4. But I think I might want this to be 2 by 5. Let's measure out and see what a 2 is, because I still want to have a little bit of a border. Or do I cut it this way? Or do I cut it this way? So if I do 2 this way versus if I do 2 this way, I think I'm going to do 2 this way. And I like the 2-inch. So we're going to trim to 2. And this is a 6 by 6 piece of designer paper. So I'm going to lay this out just to see. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to make it 2 by 5. That's a whole inch. So if I do 2 by 5 1/4, I'm going to there and here. All right, so I cut a piece that's 2 by 5 1/4. And I know that this is going to come here. And because it's 5 1/4, it should be edge to edge. Okay, so that's my thought. And then I'm going to need a piece. I said this piece is going to go on the inside. I said that my basic white would be 2 by 2 1/2. And I think I want it to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to adjust my drawing, my template. I am totally stamping on the fly tonight, you guys. So I'm going to make this, I think 2 1/2. No, I'm going to go 2 1/4. That's still not wide enough, but I'll make it work. 2 1/4. Two 1/4 by 3 1/4. So that's what I went with, 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. Oh yeah, that'll work. So now I'm gonna get a piece of Starry Sky and trim this. So I went 2 1/4. So I'm just gonna make this a 2 1/2. Where did I go? 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I'm gonna go 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. Okay, so that's what this is. This first card is turning out to be. Now, again, let me adjust this because I went 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So as I change my measurements, I need to go ahead and adjust that in my design. 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. No, that's not right. That's the matte layer. And then the basic white is 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. And so this is some of the design that goes on in the background when I'm creating. I never know what I'm doing. And so for this particular design, I am going for an oldie, and this one is called Easter Promise. I didn't really start labeling my labeling my stamps, so I couldn't tell you which catalog, which year. I couldn't tell you any of that. So I'm gonna figure it out because I do have a lot of the catalogs, the older catalogs, so I'm able to figure that out. So let's go ahead and get this stamped on here. Oh, and that's perfect size too. Grab me a block. I really do appreciate everybody taking the time to come join me live. I am, like I said, I'm kind of stamping on the fly. I had some thoughts that I jotted down. And of course, because I work and I don't really have a lot of time when I think about things, everything is kind of hit or miss tonight, and I'm going to be adjusting on the fly some of the projects that I'm working with. So let's get this part done. Grab a Stampin' Up block. And I'm going to be coloring with my alcohol markers. So I'm going to I'm going to stamp in my tuxedo block memento. Now, in case you didn't know, one of the 20, what are we? We're in the 21 to 23. No, that's not right. Yeah, the 21, 23 colors. Is that right? We're getting ready to retire. And that's the set that includes our pale papaya, polished pink, fresh freesia, soft succulent, and evening evergreen. Well, you know, every 2 years, Stampin' Up switches out what there are in colors. And so those colors will be retiring with the exception of fresh freesia. Fresh freesia will not be retiring. Fresh freesia is going to be added into one of the color families. Can't remember which at this time. Probably the subtles, but I can't remember, so I won't lie to you about that. So I'm going to use the soft succulent to color and bring out some of the colors in the designer paper. So we want our stems, and I'm using the light, and I'm also using the bullet nib, the bullet tip. And because I almost always have to add some sort of highlighting, I'm gonna just kind of go in a little bit with the dark and add just a little bit of highlighting. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. I always have to add some sort of dimension when I am coloring. It just seems to make sense and it's needed. All right, so let's go back in with our light soft succulent, blend that color out just a tad. I'm also doing our monthly shoebox swap. I haven't even designed my card for that one yet. And that one, we have to use blues or pinks. The theme is birthday. And yeah, we always have to have embellishment. So I'm going to try to pull out some colors in this card. We're blue heavy, so I think I might go with the Flirty Flamingo or Calypso. I think I'm going to go call it Flirty Flamingo on this one. Although it seems like it's, let's see, it seems like it should be Calypso Coral. But let's see. Oh no, it's Flirty. So we're going to color our cardstock with our Flirty Flamingo. And in this case, I'm going to start with my light on my dark Flirty Flamingo. And again, when I'm coloring, I tend to, wherever it seems like the light would be. And then, of course, I follow the artist's lines to determine placement of my shadows and highlights. Okay. So again, I'm starting with my dark. So again, don't forget to share this video. Every time you share my video, it encourages me to continue to provide content for you. But I'd also like to grow my channel and my viewership. And I can only do that with your help. And just know that I appreciate you just for taking the time in your day to watch me create for you. Now, creating cards for me, it serves multiple purposes. It is my 100% relaxation. It relieves me of a lot when I'm stressed and I'm stressing about personal things or whatever. I definitely reach for my crafts. I find that it is the best therapy, at least for me, when I am going through, of course, besides turning to the Lord, of course. But it is my method of relaxing, de-stressing, and just being able to show a little bit of my creativity. All right, so that's what we've done with the dark. And now we're going to go in with the light. And for this one, I'm going to go in with the brush tip. And all I'm going to do is kind of pull that color in. I don't want to completely blend out the dark. You have to be able to continue to see the shadows or the highlights. Okay. And again, I've realized that when I'm coloring, I really don't talk much. It's all about concentrating and making sure that I lay color where I would like color to be and not color out of the lines. Reminds me of high school or grade school, you know, when you're trying very hard not to color outside of the lines. I don't know how we did it though, because those crayons, the tips were so thick. How did we manage not to color outside of the lines? I don't know. Wait. And then because I think I've lost some of the highlight, I'm going to go back in with my Flirty Flamingo dark and then just reiterate some of those highlight points. Typically, when you're coloring with alcohol markers, you have to let the ink dry. But sometimes because of videos and so on, I just don't let it dry. There's not enough time to let it dry properly, so that the colors blend a little bit better. Okay. But you can see there's highlighting, there's a little bit of shading, a little bit more definition into our flower. Okay, so we're done with this. We're done coloring. So now let's put this card together. One of the things, if you can, let me know, do you think that I should emboss the white layer? I think I should, but I'm not sure. I would love your opinion on whether that should be embossed or not. And I'm going to use, I'm going to do that too. Let me grab my Wink of Stella. I got to add a little, I got to add some bling to it, y'all. If I can find my Wink of Stella pan. And just add a little bit of shine to it. Because bling is the name of my game. Always has been and always will be. Okay. So with this pen, we're just going to add a little shine, a little shizzle, and I am taking the pens. Anything I'm doing on this card, I am going to take with me to the class on Sundays. So they'll be playing with the Wink of Stella pen, learning how to add a little shimmer and shine to their cards. Okay. I don't know if you can see the shine or shimmer or not, but there is a lot of shine and there is a lot of shimmer in here. Okay, so now I need to find my liquid glue. And we're going to start assembling our card, at least parts and pieces of it. I don't know whether it's because the temperature change or not, but my glue, my tip has been flowing, and I mean flowing. So has anybody been creative today? I'm excited about, I didn't count, but I think we've got, we've got in the new catalog, if you're as a demonstrator, you're able to get an early copy, a PDF copy of it. Y'all, it's 180 pages. It is 180 pages. The catalog. I think there were, I want to say there was 4 to 6 suites. So let's see, we're going to have this way. Right? And then I'm going to add this like so. Right? And then like that. So do we need to add texture? I'm not comfortable. This just seems a little, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. It just seems very plain to me, like I need to do something. So I am going to emboss it. It just seems very plain to me, so I have to emboss it. So I'm going to use, if you're watching and you see the online exclusives, I'm using the, I think this one looks like a little bit like cross weave, or is that what it's called, cross hatch? The patterns, and I'm going to use this one to add dimension or some texture to the card, the basic white. So I'm going to step away for a minute, run this through the big boss because it's too big for the mini boss. So give me a minute. Let me go emboss this and I'll be right back. There's no magic of television here. Only if I was prepared would I have had this already embossed for you, but I don't. Again, I'm playing out this. I think it just looks so much better now. It's just different. It just looks 100% different. All right. Then I'm going to put this here. Like that. And then this here like that. What do you think? I think it's pretty close to what I thought I was going to do. If I could find my little templates. I think it's pretty close. Okay, here we go. So this is kind of where I was going with that. And I think I'm pretty close to what that looks like. So I'm good with the measurements. and everything that I've done with this one thus far. Okay, so let's get together and put this put this together. So I'm going to add my liquid adhesive. And again, when I'm using, when I'm adhering to an embossed layer, I tend to either use, mostly I will use liquid glue, but I also will almost always use some kind of a stronger glue, Stampin' Seal Plus, the, oh my gosh, what that's called, the red tape, the score tape, the double-sided tape, any of that that's really strong adhesive, I would use that. Okay, I know I want this to be on dimensional, so this will be popped up. So my question now for myself is, what am I going to do with the sentiment? Okay, well, there's this big happy Easter here. That's not going to fit without what we've got going thus far. So we can't use anything there. What are the other ones that I pulled out? So I have Easter greetings. This is from Fabled Friends. Let's see how that's going to work. Oh yeah, I think this will work perfectly. Oh yeah. Oh, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with that too. Okay. So there we go. We got this card squared away. So let's put this away. Let's put you back on this. Now, the other thing that I need to be cognizant when I'm doing for my classes is trying to make sure that I don't use the same materials, because obviously the seniors that I'm visiting, they don't have any supplies at all. So that means they have to share. So if I have just one Memento Black ink pad, then of course everybody's having to share that one Memento Black ink pad. Of course, I have more than one, but you understand what I'm saying with that. So let's go ahead and stamp our Happy Easter. And I'm going to stamp it and then I'm going to heat emboss it. I don't do heat embossing when I do my classes, especially with my seniors. I just try to mitigate as much as I can by avoiding that. So I'm just going to go ahead, grab my little spoon here. And then get my heat embossing, my heat gun warmed up and then ready to stamp. All right, let that sit while I put everything away. And let me tell you, I just had the perfect punch that I'm going to use. I can put my hand on it. It is the double, I think it's called the double scalloped punch. Here we go. I think that's what we call it. Yep, the double oval. And I thought this, and it was absolutely, oh my gosh. All right, I gotta trim it a little bit. I thought it was perfect for this. I'm gonna trim just a little bit. I gotta be careful so I still have enough to punch. And do you see how that just fits right in there, just like so? All right, so I'm gonna go punch this out. Put that out of there. And then I'm gonna put a piece right in here so I can have my mat. Okay, so that's how we're gonna take care of this. Add our adhesive. And mat. Like so. Then I'm thinking when I lay this out, I'm gonna have this here like that. This is gonna be on dimensionals like so. And this should be, I think it's gonna be towards the top. What do you think? Like that. Should I put it at the top or should I put it at the bottom? What do you think? Should I put it at the top or should I put it at the bottom? All right, while you're thinking about that, I'm gonna go grab me some dimensionals. That's the top, and let me put it towards the bottom. Let me, so you can see how it looks both ways. Should I put it towards the bottom? Ooh, I like the bottom. I'm gonna put it towards the bottom. Unless anybody has anything different, I'm putting it towards the bottom. All right, so I'm gonna go in with my foam strips. Turn them off. All righty. I think this is our card right here, you guys. Sans embellishments. This card is almost done. So let's get it finished and put this one in the books. And so now I have at least one template that's ready for my class on Sunday. And I also have the dimensions are already done. So when I get off of work tomorrow and I get to putting everything together, it's very easy for me now to kind of head back and just cut, because I've already got my dimensions already down. And again, I have to use the lines to make sure that I'm lining things up properly. And so I'm going to do that. And I'm not going to put anything like solid in place until I'm exactly comfortable as to where they are. So I know in this little quadrant up here, I'm going to put some adhesive, but I know in the bottom is where I'm going to put my foam strips. Oops. That's going to be towards the bottom. I'm going to put another strip. Because this is going to go on this card just like that. Okay, so now that we want to keep it primarily in that quadrant, we may have to add a little bit more, but because this is a fine tip pen, that means we can actually lift it if we needed to, just to go ahead and add some liquid adhesive. But we'll see how we get along and if we do need to actually add some more. Again, make sure it's lined up on the grid line. And then let it stay down. Add our liquid adhesive, making sure that we go tip to tip. And remember, because this is embossed, you need to make sure that your adhesive gets into the cracks and crevices so that the paper, your cardstock, does not lift from the base. All righty. So here we go. I think that's lined up perfectly. And here we go. Look at that, y'all. Ha ha! I am so pleased with this. You know, when I do things like this, it just says to me I should design more often instead of kind of just sitting and winging it like I do sometimes with my cards. It's just easier sometimes to have an idea in mind and then just go and make it happen. All right. So this is our first card for tonight. And the template that we followed, I think I didn't put any bling on here. I've got to do that. Oh no. How did I think I was going to get away without any bling? Although this is crystal, I mean, this has some Winka Stella on it. It's still not. Oh no. Oh no. There's no bling on that. So I'm going to put I'm going to put one here. Put one here. And then one here. Okay. All right, so card number 1 is done, and I think we did fairly well with our template. So we have our two-tone Flora. Did I stay to 2 inches? I think I did. Yes. So I stuck to 2 inches by 5 1/4. That's what I did. And then I embossed the basic white. And those are my notes. So I'll make all of this into a tutorial or instruction cards for later. All right, that's card number 1. Card number 2. I think I'm going to go with this one. This one I'm going to have a little bit of fun with. And let me know if you think it's a little, let me know if you think it, well, no, let's go with this one. So I went with a Petal pink card base. And when I designed for my senior class, I try to make it something that's fun and doable for them, but I don't want it to be too difficult because, of course, I never know who's going to come to the class. I never know, you know, I never know a lot about them or their condition. When I say their condition, I mean, well, I'm just going to leave it at that, their condition. And who I just need to be mindful of who's attending my class, I guess is where I'm going with that. And so the next thing I'm going to use is I'm going to use the country gingham, and I'm going to go with the coordinating petal pink. And my design says that I'm cutting that to 4 by 5 1/4. So that's what I'm going to go do, and I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to cut this to 4 by 5 1/4. And all I'm going to do with this is just adhere this. I'm trying to decide. I think I'm going to put a piece of, what size is this? So I'm going to trim this because I already die cut my circle out of that to 4 1/8. Just a little bit bigger than the 4 inch. And we know this is 5 1/4. So I need it to be 5 3/8. All right. And that part's not in the design, so I'm going to end up having to add that. I like this one. So I'm just going to adhere this to our basic white. Oops. I forgot I got that big old circle in the middle there. So let's make sure we don't have anything here that will give us any issues. Yeah, we did a little, but that's okay. Because now I'm just going to add our adhesive to the back of all of this. And add it to our card base. All right, so our card base is done. And so now what we need to do is we need to get our design element complete. So I already die cut 2 circles, one in basic white and one in the coordinating petal pink. And I'm going to stamp. I'm going to use okay. What I want to do is to have my bunnies, right? So I'm thinking, because now I'm going to do a little bit of masking. I want my bunnies to be, behind. I think that's right. But I'm going to try it first, right? Because I can't remember now. It's late, so my brain's not functioning 100%, right? So let's stamp our, all right, where did you come from, my friend? Because I do need to put you back so that I don't forget where I got you from. Oh, I got you from the same set. So let's put you back. I might pull it out again. So what I want to do is I want to have this bunny appear in front of this patch of flowers. So what I'm going to end up doing is, and this is for me to test and make sure, but also to make my mask, because I do need to make my mask. If I put this here, like so, right? Then I'm going to stamp the same flower on a piece of masking tape. And you don't need it to be very big. I just need for it to be big enough. Oops. Okay. For my purposes, I just need, I guess it'll cover all of it actually. All right. Then just kind of going to go in with my little snips here and create my mask. Now I'm not trying for it to be perfect. I'm not trying for it to be perfect, but I am going to try to do a good job of the fussy cutting. This stamp set, even though retired, does not have a did not have a die set with it. So if you were going to do anything with it, you would have to fussy cut it anyway. Now, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And when you're fussy cutting for masking purposes, you need to cut a little bit on the line, if not a little bit inside of the line, because you want to avoid when you mask and you stamp over your mask to have that little bit of the line, the gap line. You want to avoid that. And right now I'm not again because I know what image I'm going for, and it will be okay if it's not perfect. I've learned, and I will continue to say it's one of the best tips that I have learned when it comes to fussy cutting,
is that you should move your non-dominant, the non-dominant hand is the hand that you should be moving. The hand that is holding the scissors, in my case, it's my right hand. I'm right-handed. I very rarely, if any, I don't move my scissors at all except to adjust when I've run out of area. I don't move my scissors at all. The way the paper moves and turns, it's my left hand, my non-dominant hand, is the one that's doing the work. Okay, so this is enough for our purposes for this card. So let's see if this is going to do what I need for it to do. So if I put this here, I want the bunny to come up behind, to be behind, or should I go with the goose? I'm going to go with the bunny. So I want the bunny to be behind the plant, the flowers. And so let's see how that's going to work. I may have it backwards in terms of the order in which they need to be stamped. So I'm just trying to verify that before I do it on the cardstock, on the circle. And sometimes you just have to play with things just to make sure that they are what you need them to be. So that's all I'm doing. So if I scrap. If I wanted this, I want his head to be up like that. So did I have it in the right configuration? I think I did. That's perfect. Do you see how the bunny is now behind? I did it 100% correct. All righty. So let's get our card going. So what we want to do, what I want to do, is to go ahead and stamp my flowers on my circle. And I want the same effect that I just got when I did that, but I'm gonna bring this guy right towards, oh, let me grab a scrap piece of paper. All right, and I'm gonna just stamp this, and I want it towards the bottom, like so. Perfect. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with my bunny. Oh, where's my mask? Gotta put the mask down, otherwise you're gonna have a mess. We don't want that. So let's put our mask on. Make sure it lines up. Like so. All right. Then we're gonna ink up our bunny. Make sure this has a lot of ink. There we go. And the only thing we have to decide on here is exactly how much of the bunny do I want showing. And I think I want him to go almost all the way to the top. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have his ears almost to the top. Burnish that ink into the cardstock. And there we go. Awesome possum. So the last thing I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna save this mask because we can use this again. Now, do you think that masking is too much for my seniors? I'm not sure. So I'm gonna grab my light gray granite. I think that's the one I'm gonna go with. Let's make sure that it's light enough.
Yeah, I think that's why. That's perfect. And then I'm gonna use this just for my bunny. And I'm not gonna color all of it. It's just to give the illusion of the white. It is really just gonna be used to highlight. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a pink, just for the ears, and give the ears a little bit of color. I think this is the right one. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna color the flowers, and I want to say, let's go with some greens, and I'm gonna go with Parakeet Party, because I want to keep it springy, which spring to me means kind of bright colors, pastel colors. And so that's kind of where I'm going with that. I might have to reevaluate. I'm thinking that the masking might be a little challenging for my seniors. So I might either, I might do all of the masking myself, the stamping, and then just have them color. I think that's probably what I'll do, because I love this design and I think they will love it as well. Okay. Then, I want to have a little, maybe some fresh freesia in my flowers. That's where I'm going to go, the fresh freesia flowers. Ooh. And I'm only going to use my light, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to add a little bit of dimension just by using the light fresh freesia Stampin' Blend. And I'm gonna let it dry for just a second, because once it's dry, then I can go back in and add more color and it'll seem a little bit darker. And I wanted to do all of that to show you how to do it without adding, oh, I forgot his top, right? So I let it dry. Then I'm gonna go right back in with the light. And the longer you let it dry, of course, is the longer or the darker your highlight will be when you go in to do that. Because the first layer of ink color will have already absorbed into the cardstock. So do you see how just by using this one ink Stampin' Blend, how I've added a little bit of subtle highlight to the flower? Okay. Now I need to put her in I need to color the sweater. Okay, I'm gonna stay in the in color family, and I'm gonna bring in the pale papaya. Okay. Go right in with the dark pale papaya. And you would expect that wherever the artist has given you those lines is where we should probably add a little bit of depth. Okay. I'm working from home tomorrow, y'all. My new schedule at work is I'll be working from home. I'm excited about that. I wasn't so much before, but I am now. And there we go. So we have colored our bunny. And now the one thing I want to do is go in with my color lifter on the gray and kind of blend it out just a little bit. Okay. Just spread that color around just a little bit and soften it. Okay. So we've colored our bunny. All right. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this card, this bunny, to our mane. And we're going to attach it like so. But before I do that, you guys, you know what I want to do? And I should have done it before. Note to self. I should have done my cardstock with my ribbon, but I didn't. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to add a strip here and make a note for myself on the card, the project sheet, that I really want to adhere the ribbon to the base layer. Because I thought about it after the fact. See, I didn't have any notes about ribbon, but now I thought about it and I'm like, that's where I want it. So what am I going to do? I'm now looking for my tape runner. So I can add some tape. Oh, but you know, oh no, where is my tape? Okay. When in doubt, grab me some score tape, burnish my score tape into the paper. Remove one side first. Add our adhesive, add a ribbon. Make sure we have it straight, even on the front. Remove our second. And before I press that in place, I'm going to lift this up again and make sure it is where I want for it to be. And then adhere the ribbon strip. So that's going to be like that. Then we're going to add this here. Oh, that didn't look too bad there either. Look at us being creative. All right, so we need for this, and I'm going to double bump this. And by double bump, I mean that there. For my dimensionals or my top dots. I remember when I first started crafting, that's exactly what I would call them, my pop dots, because it would pop things up. Okay, pop these off. Whoops, not what I meant to do. Just want to take the backings off. Okay, so you guys, what I'm thinking about doing, now that we know we have the new catalog coming out, is I'm trying to get a group of demonstrators together. And the point of all of that will be to, each of us will pick like a suite or a product, whatever it is we're able to order. And then from that product list, we will schedule a virtual open house. And depending, I can't remember how many products there are in the catalog, but we would then do maybe a whole day or half a day, depending on the number. And from there, just present you projects so you can see and highlight all of the new products in the new catalog that's going to debut in May. What do you think about that? I think it's a great idea for the demonstrators and also for our customers, because then you get a chance to see the new products. And if you're like a lot of folks, it just helps when you're able to see that product in use for you to get some ideas. I know I've had some people tell me that, some of the previous Stampin' Up products that, I didn't really, until I saw it, I wasn't sure that I wanted it, kind of deal. And so that's just something that I wanted to share and to think about. Make sure there's no ink on that. And then put that right there. I think that's how I'm going to work with that one. So guys, I think we did a great job. We kind of I made this one work. I can't lose my mask. I think I am going to make this card for my seniors. I'm probably going to end up doing if I'm going to stamp it all for them and just have them do the coloring. That way they don't have to worry about trying to learn the mask and things of that nature. So I think that's what I'm going to do for my seniors to help them with this card. But I love it enough that I want them to do it, and I'm going to enjoy that with them. All right, so let's see, where's my black VersaFine? Because of course we have to heat emboss this thing. It would not be a Caron card if it was not heat embossed. We know this. And I'm not too concerned how I'm stamping it on here, other than to stamp it, because I am going to cut around it. I just want it on there so that I can get it heat embossed. And then I'm gonna fussy cut my okay, so I have 2 of my designs that I sketched out ready. And I really did not have I really did sit at work. I really just did sit at work today and sketch those out because they were in my brain. And quite honestly, I personally am not so good with measurements. I can't really gauge them very well. And so for me, even though I wrote those numbers down, I had a fair idea of what it is I wanted, but I wasn't sure that the measurement itself would work 100%. So I was happy that it kind of worked, the ones that I had, and it wasn't too much adjusting that I had to do. When you are fussy cutting and you are using your non-dominant hands, you can actually make those corners, and it just helps so that your cutting doesn't look so jagged sometimes. You guys, again, thanks for watching. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like to be a part of my VIP group, I would love to have you. Let me know, and I would definitely link up with you. The catalog mailing, if you do not have a catalog and a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, again, I would love to be serve you with your stamping needs. Today is the last day to sign up. I do have to do the catalog mailing. Matter of fact, I better go check and make sure that I'm telling the truth. And it's not today and not tomorrow. The catalog mailing selector period, which is what it's called, and either today or tomorrow. I'm going to verify. And what that means is that when Stampin' Up! Launches a new catalog, whether it's the celebration or an annual, whatever the catalog is, we have what's called a mailing selector period. And as long as we sign up in time, Stampin' Up! Will ship the catalogs directly to our customers. Now that works, it works beautifully in that everybody gets their catalogs on time, and you're able to look at the catalogs because Stampin' Up! Tries to ship them all in the relatively same period of time so that everybody has the catalog all at the same time. Yeah. And then otherwise, and the shipping is kind of of the catalogs. Otherwise, if we as demonstrators tend to ship the catalogs, we don't get, because we're not shipping in such high quantities, we don't really get a good rate on shipping for the catalog. And I think if and when Stampin' Up! Does it, they may have the opportunity to use like media mail or something like that because they meet those quantity requirements. But in order to get on my VIP customer list, you will have my catalogs are sent free to any of my customers who've placed an order in the last 6 months. Actually, the last 3 months, I'm sorry. And so you would get your catalog for free. If you haven't already done so, if you haven't placed an order and you want a catalog, you can go to my website at any time and put a catalog in your cart. I believe they're $5 each, and I would give you a credit towards your next purchase of $5. All right, so we've got that. And so I'm gonna mat this, and I'm looking for a dark. Ooh, does not work, but this is what I'm thinking. Pull out that green. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. May not make sense to everybody, but it makes sense to me. And it's just a little bit more fussy cutting, y'all. I'm gonna put this right here, like that. Let it set for a minute. And then I'm going to fussy cut that out. Add a little bling, and this card too shall be done. And then I think we might have time to maybe try to start on that third card. That one's, I really saw that one in my head, and I'm hoping that I can really bring that one to fruition. Now, if any of the cards that I've done tonight and you really think, you know, it's a little ambitious for your seniors, please let me know. I want them to enjoy the craft and the time that they're spending with it. So I don't want to do anything that may overwhelm them. So if you think any of the projects that I'm working on tonight might be a little too ambitious, I guess, for my seniors, and definitely drop me a comment and let me know. I would love to believe that when I get older, that I would enjoy stamping and crafting still in my older age, and I say older age. But I don't want my love of it to be hampered by the fact that maybe it might be too challenging for my abilities at that age. Does that make sense, what I just said? I hope so. Anyway, we're almost done with this fussy cutting, and then we can try to move on to card number 3 and see how that one will work. All right, so here's what I did. And now I'm just gonna stamp this and put this guy right on here on this card. I love it. All right, let's get it popped up and moving on to the next. Oops. All right, let's grab some of these strips. I know you guys see me changing my scissors. I have there's scissors for ribbon, there's scissors for cardstock. Let's see. I'm not gonna have too much of it hanging on the Happy Easter. Okay. So I need some to go here. Need some to go here. So this will be like so. I don't know about y'all, but I seem like I'm crooked. And so it's starting to wig me out a little bit. I think that's straight. All right, so I'm going to go with that and call that our project. All right, so here we go. Let's line this up on that grid line so we know that's straight. And then just going to put this here like so. And then that like that. I think that's straight. Looks straight to me. Okay. Now for some bling, and this card is complete. All righty. Okay. Our second card is done, y'all. What do you think? Okay. All right. So if you're just joining me, this is card number 1 that we created tonight. And this is card number 2. Now, the next card that I'm thinking about, I'm gonna use Retiring Mary Merlot. Mary Merlot is one of my all-time favorite colors. And I thought I was gonna cry when I saw I thought I was gonna cry when I saw that it was retiring. But all good things must come to an end. All right, so we saw, where is my, okay. So we did this one. We did this one. And now I'm going to try to do this one. Okay. 4 by 5 1/4. My card base is Mary Merlot. And again, I'm going to trim this. Oh, I have a piece there, so I can do. Did I already cut my Mary Merlot? No, I did. Why did I cut my Mary Merlot? Okay. So I'm going to score at 4 by 5 at 4 1/4, because now I'm going to have 2 card bases. And then I'm going to cut at 5 1/2. So my card bases, as always, is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at the 4 1/4. So here's my card base, and that's done. Actually, I don't need that to be a card base. I just wasted that. Sorry. My card base is going to be basic white. I already have some of those pre-cut already. So my card base is going to be basic white, and that's going to be, again, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Okay. Am I thinking about this right? Okay, where's my sheet? Because I wrote what I thought I was going to do here. Here we go. Let's. Okay. Okay, so my card base is colored. That's what I had. So I do need that. You see, this is why. Okay. Go towards my mountain. Burnish. Okay. Now my basic white piece of cardstock is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. You just trim this because I already have this out. I know this needs to be 4 1/4. No, this needs to be 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. Then I'm gonna need another piece of basic white. And I think I said in my notes, I said I wanted it to be, I said it was gonna be about 2 inches, but this is 2 inches, I believe. Right, from 2 to 4 is 2 inches. I think that's a perfect width. So I want it to be 2 inches, another piece of basic white. That's 2 inches by, let's see, 2 inches by, let's go 2 by 3. Let's go 2 by 3 1/4. So I went 2 by 3 1/4. That's what I went with here. Better write it down because I didn't write it on the other. Two by 3 1/4. So that would mean that our matte layer should be 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. So let's just cut that now and then put it aside. 3 1/2, 2 1/4. All right. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take these 2 pieces. Let's set all of this aside. And I'm going to stamp. Where's my repositionable? Let me put a little bit of just a small dab of removable tape. Oops. On here, because we won't want it to stick permanently. I'm gonna do a stamping technique. Like so, and put this where I need it to be, like so. Right. Then I'm gonna bring in another stamp set. This one is called Soft Spring. I told you I was using a lot of retired products. May as well use them, right? And then all I'm gonna do, I need a block. Add this to the block. And I'm just gonna do a little stamping here. I'm gonna grab again my memento. And again, anytime I'm gonna use my alcohol markers, I'm gonna use either the memento black or I'm gonna use I didn't prime my stamp well, I could see that. Or I'm gonna use my VersaFine and heat set with clear embossing powder. Yeah, it should stamp well now. Okay, so here we go. Let's get this stamped out. Now, I might change my mind in terms of the color that I use for Sunday, but I think as of right now, this is kind of where I'm gonna go with it. So let's get this stamped out. shift it a little bit. Oh, I think that now that I'm looking at this, I think this might be a little bit too much for my seniors, but I'm gonna make it anyway and then see if I need to adjust. Okay. That didn't stamp very clearly. So I see that's a problem. So yeah, I'm thinking if I'm not, because I'm not having trouble with it, but I can see where I could see where they might have some issues. So I think I'm thinking that I may end up having to adjust fire with this stamp set, I think, or with this project. All right, so I'm gonna stamp these. This is a 2-step stamp. Needs to be some leaves. I think I might go some Pear Pizzazz. Pear Pizzazz is also retiring. Ink this up. Line it up. And stamp. I'm going to do a little second generation stamping on this one. Then full strength stamp here. Okay. That's done. Oh, this might be easy. I might take that part off just because that part I see might be a little challenging for them. Okay. Clean this off. Aside. All right, so this is done. That's done. And guess what, you guys? There is a 2-step stamp for the I think that's lavender. I think that's what that is. That belongs there. Okay. This belongs here. And I think just for a little bit of color, I might do my flowers. I don't know what color. Well, they should be somewhat of a purple, right? So I'm gonna go grab oh, well, let's stick with fresh freesia. Why not? It's there, right? I am gonna stick with fresh freesia. I think I may keep the design, but take that part off just because I don't want it to be too challenging for my seniors, these card projects. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do with this, guys. And then let's take this off now. All right. Does this have a 2-inch? No, it's too wide. Oh, okay. So what I wanted to do was really to have this, and I should have trimmed it before I started. So we're gonna leave it square, right? And then I'm just gonna mat this on here like so. Like so. Then I'm going to with dimensionals add this guy back to my card. And so this should be somewhere like that. Somewhere like that. Okay, so let's grab some dimensionals and get this positioned. And I need the dimensionals to stay towards the bottom because we're going to have to trim some of the top off. I think that's right. Oh, where did that come from? I made a mess. Well, it's good it's a sample. Either that or I'm going to cover it up somehow. Oh, yes, sir. We are crafters. We can hide anything with some ink and some paper. So most things we can anyway. Right? So we're almost finished with this card, you guys. And I think for the purpose of my class on Sunday for my seniors, I'm probably not going to have this part done. Probably. I'll sleep on it and make sure in my brain. Okay. All right. Turn it over. Grab a pair of snips. Trim this off. Okay. Now I'm going to add this to the front. So I'm going to look for some of my ribbon. I'm going to color it, I think. I think. I grabbed a piece of seam binding ribbon in white, and I'm going to color it. And I'm going to grab my alcohol marker. I think I stamped with fresh freesia. So let me grab a scrap piece of paper. Because I do need it to be scrap. All I will do
grab my alcohol marker, the dark, fresh freezer dark.
And I'm going to color my ribbon. Now, if you don't ever have ribbon in the same shade as something that you want, always have some of the white seam binding ribbon on hand and some alcohol markers, and then you can color that ribbon to match your ink, if that's what you wanted to do. That's enough right there. And I'm going to turn it over because when I tie that bow, I don't want that. I want the other side to be just as fresh freesia as the other. Okay. Just going to let that dry for a minute. And then we're just going to tie our bow from there. Okay. So what do you think about the project so far tonight, you guys? I think they're pretty cool. Make sure they're dry. Clean my fingers to make sure I don't have any more transfer of ink. Okay, I believe we're good enough, almost dry. So let's go ahead and tie our ribbon. And don't make fun of me as I tie my ribbon, y'all. I force myself to tie ribbons because it's something I'm not good at. And because I'm not good at it, I have to force myself to do it so I can improve my skills. That wasn't so bad. Okay. I don't want my bows to be too, my loops on my bow. I don't want them to be too big. That's a little too big. Okay. I think we've got a good bow here. So now I'm just going to trim this off. Alrighty. Bring our card back in. Gonna add our little bow right here and a sentiment. I'm not sure what sentiment I'm gonna use for Sunday, but I'm not gonna put one on this tonight only because I'm debating whether I'm gonna do this for my class on Sunday, and I just need to think that through. Doing that, it might impact where I put my sentiment if I don't. So I think I'm gonna hold off on putting a sentiment on it for tonight. Okay. So there we go. We have our card done. I think I might trim. Where did I put my scissors? Let's trim this down. Let's trim this down just a tad. There we go. So I think we have a third card. Again, for my class on Sunday, I'm rethinking that part. I think the stamping will be easy for them. And then here are the 3 cards we created tonight. I love them all. Do you have a favorite? I love this one too. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. I appreciate it, for you keeping me company. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are not a current subscriber. If you are looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please do not forget, keep me in mind. Your Austin, Texas Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, Caron Bailey with Sweet Signature Creations. Thank you for joining me, you guys, and have a blessed evening.